Do you remember the time when Marty McFly goes into Cafe 80s? I was there playing back all those images and synchronizing the film camera.
Did you know that no matter how old a TV is, directors expect them to work perfectly on set so actors can give their best performance? Let's discover how retro TVs are restored and hacked to meet the unique demands of Hollywood. Our journey is going to start with a man who definitely has the most obscure job title in Hollywood, 24 frame playback. Steve Irwin has been doing this for over 30 years, and over that time he's amassed one of the largest collections of retro TVs, computers, and specialized hardware in Hollywood. We're going to explore his shop and see how Steve makes movie magic.
We're going to go to the left.
Okay.
We'll start.
Wow.
We call this the 80s aisle. It's primarily wood grain.
Wow.
Everything you see here is working and making a good enough image that it can be photographed as a practical working piece of set dressing.
Now, watch.
This is the 1982 championship, the shot that Jordan makes. I've seen this. Everyone's seen this.
We've got, mid 70s, early 80s, 12-inch, 15, 19.
Look at all those adjustments.
Oh, yeah. You would set the band you want, then tune in the channel. So there was a rough and a fine tuning adjustment for all those channel presets. One thing that may not be apparent in your video is just the physical condition of these sets. You don't see any gouges, scratches, marring. We take great pride in the fact that if you're dressing a set that's 1975 and you have a 1973 TV, that 1975 TV doesn't look 40 years old or 50 years old. Anything that's a Sony, where it's the model number begins with PVM, they were made from 8-inch up to 25. Very popular with the retro gamers. Before the era of little LCD projectors, a salesman might walk in with this to a conference room or a boardroom, and his presentation would be on VHS tape. So he'd drop this on the table, get it powered, drop in his tape, and everybody would watch a little presentation.
Another aisle of retro tube TVs.
All computer monitors, VGA from the beginning of the 1980s up till about 2000. We're able to select these pre-programmed screens that are static, but are appropriate looking for something in the 80s that would have been DOS-based. We had some of these on the Ben Affleck film Air. That film was set in 1984, so these were all over the executive bullpen.
That's really cool how you can just dial in whatever screen you want. It's pretty simple, and like you said, you're not getting any noise from the PC.
Vintage Land?
Oh, Vintage Land. I thought this was Vintage Land.
No.
We're not in Vintage Land yet?
No, sir. We had these refinished, which is why they look absolutely like they just came out of the factory. So these don't go out very often, but when they do, they look fantastic.
What's like the typical rental price on some of this gear?
You could be $300 to $900 a week. 24 frame playback is the person responsible for any working display technology on a film set, a computer monitor, a television with a picture tube, even LCD flat screens. We need to time the cameras to that vertical blanking period. Otherwise, you'd see a little thin splice somewhere in the image. This was actually sold as a consumer piece, 1/2-inch open reel videotape recorder. Would have also been used maybe for some limited educational use.
Have any of these older sets been used in any movies? I would have seen like some of these consoles over here.
This was painted, this color scheme, for the movie Pleasantville, because there's the fantasy sequence of a TV repair shop, and the design they wanted was very specific for the feel of the movie. This TV model was used on a guard's desk for the Joker sequel that shot in Los Angeles for all their stage work.
What are all these scanners over here?
It's more of a private collection of period police scanners. It's an interest and a love that started back in my high school days, realistic, scanners that were made in 74, 5, 6.
We don't see buttons like this anymore anywhere.
Yeah. We're known for having a lot of vintage and period stuff, but, a lot of productions take place current day, so We have a large LCD, desktop monitor inventory. It's being fed from a Intel NUC computer. We can select all sorts of things. Are they in a 911 call center like the Fox television series 911 with 96 computer monitors going? Something like this was actually used on Fast and Furious 7.
Yeah, cool.
Or actually 8. The inventory, it's been curated over decades. It's unreplaceable. We have TVs from the mid-70s that are literally in museum quality. It's really that love of doing a very niche specialty in the film production industry. And we're just one of those crafts that really don't get noticed.